Hey and welcome to my video. My name is Nina and today we are going to be decorating a small villager neighborhood. This very small neighborhood is only including Stiches' and Henry's house just because they look very similar and I really like that style of house. Probably because the colors go very well with my current theme. Yeah, and it's bordering the ocean and a forest and a river. So it's also kind of a connecting area. So let's see what we can come up with. Now, as I just mentioned, this is kind of a connecting area that is right between my nooks and a big forest and the beach. So there's kind of a lot of paths that we need to think of when we are building this. So I wanted to lay down the path before I actually start decorating too much. The only thing I did do is I gave Henry a little blanket because it's kind of also pathing. When I laid down the path, I also made sure to leave a few spaces in between so that I could break it up with some flowers and eventually also some trees. So yeah, and it's kind of like a very small plaza type of area as well. You will see in the end what I mean by that. And yes. As my theme is quite natural, I wanted to kind of step away a bit from the usual villager neighborhood that is very structured and more city-like and urban, but this one was I just wanted it to feel like just a few little houses bordering the forest, kind of. Just to make it feel more natural and cozy. As I always do, I have no other words to basically describe my islands other than natural and cozy. So yes, but just added a bunch of flowers and trees to break up the pathing, and I will later also drop a lot of items and a few piles of leaves, I think. So yes. And then I also chopped down a tree because I thought it would add a little spice to the other furniture I would use, because I always use the same seating elements, and adding a few tree stumps actually looks kind of nice, especially when you are trying to create a neighborhood that is bordering the forest. So it looks like there were a few trees that needed to be removed, even if I'm trying to keep my island very overgrown so that I do not support deforestation. Yes, and then as you see to the right now, I am building this little tiny flower tree space, and I will also add a garden bench there just to give it a little seating area. And that's what I meant when I said that this also includes a little tiny plaza-ish type of area. That's what I meant by that. There's just a little seating area where you can look over the river or the ocean, whatever you choose to do. Then I just added a bunch of weeds to also again break up the area, because I'm going to plant a lot of flowers now. And that's just to create a little flower field that you would need to walk through if you were going to visit Stiches. Yeah, I just thought, I wasn't sure. I cut it out because it was pointless, because I just decided not to do it. But I experimented with some terraforming behind Stiches' house, but it didn't look right. It just looked very forced and kind of also took away a lot from the area. So I just went with the little meadow flower field thingy, just to again make it look a little more natural. And my island is basically just forest and meadows. You could also say that it's very easy to fill spaces with natural items, but I just really like the look of them, especially if you break them up with some furniture pieces and not just flowers, weeds and bushes and trees, but also like fencing and more natural items. And I also really like using just random furniture pieces and dropped items to just give it a bit more depth and make it look a bit more interesting. And then in front of Henry's house, I did some very simple decor where he could lay down or sit, if you could actually sit on the hay bale, which would be so cute. But yeah, I just gave him that little hay bale and then added a few items like a little seating area with a table and some barrels in the back then, where he can store, I don't know, some flies maybe? What do frogs eat? I think flies probably. Maybe he just stores some fruit in them, or other things, because I don't like the thought of him having flies behind his house and some barrels, so that's kind of weird. So yeah, don't know why I had that thought. But yeah, I just wanted to close off the area and not make the little pond that lies behind his house as visible from the front, because I just felt like there was missing something, as his house is located right next to the forest. I wanted to give it a bit more structure and depth right behind his house, so that, or right around his house, just to make it feel like part of the forest a bit more, and not have such a harsh cut in between the villager house and the forest. And to the other side of his house, I just created this little filler picnic type of space. Didn't really know what to put there, but I also didn't like to have it be empty, so I just added this little flower rug thingy, which I really like. I've played around with my coats a lot, as I kind of got way too excited when the more codes update came out, so I filled them up immediately and kind of regretted a bunch of them. So I kind of went back in and did some digging to look for some more codes that I would actually use, and yeah, replace some of them. So if or when we will do a final tour and you see that I changed a lot of my codes, that's why. I just think it makes the whole experience a little more interesting, so that you don't have seen every little bit of my island. Yeah, I mean, I did decorate before I started my channel, so there are a bunch of areas that you haven't seen, and my island is actually close to being finished. I think it's probably going to be like 2 or 3 more weeks of uploads, and then my island should be done. And I'm also feeling very motivated at this point, and I just really have so many ideas that I want to fill some spaces with. So I'm super excited to play at the moment. Maybe I will slow down, but I don't think so, because I'm so motivated to play at the moment. So yes. And now that the meadow is done, I added a little picnic space where Stiches could sit down and just read or sleep, as he is a lazy villager. So yeah, and I dropped the little, what is it pronounced maracas? The little thingies that you got from the festival update. I just dropped them. You can do that with any instrument. I think the tambourine works, the balloons work. Also, the fizzy apple juice and stuff like that works. If you drop them, they will look like this little bag with a bear on. And I just thought it was so cute and fitting for Stiches' house. So yeah, I played around with a lot of other items, but I didn't like the look of them and just felt too cluttered and too unnatural. So I went back to dropping the little bag again. And then I just added a few more bushes and also a pumpkin to just break up the flowers and not only have flowers. As I just mentioned, I just like to break up my meadows and forests with some other items so that it looks a little more interesting for people to look at. I'm also very proud of myself that I thought of using the mum cushion, because I always forget that it exists, but I love how it looks. So I really need to use it more. I just always forget that it exists. And it's also so nice that I'm not sure if it even includes clay, but I think it's just like 3 plucked yellow mums, which is like the easiest recipe. So I really should use them a lot more. So yes. Now in front of Stiches' house, it was very hard to decorate because I placed it so far, like right in front of the beach, that I could not put any items directly in front of his door, except for if I pushed them kind of halfway over the edge, like the little half space that you are given when you place things right at the edge of the beach. You get like half a space, or I think something like that, that you can still put things on. And it was very hard to figure out where I could put items so that it still felt cozy, because I think especially if you're decorating for Stiches, his house just has to be cozy. He is a little like teddy bear, and so coziness is his trademark. So I was just toying with so many different items, and I couldn't make it work until I finally made the decision to just not use the rattan table and go for a balloon. I think Stiches' hobby is like playing, I think. So I just thought the baby bear and the balloon would fit perfectly. And then I played with the blanket design a little more in front of his house. And now I am finally nearing my final decision. And yeah. Took a while, but I really like how it turned out, and I think it just fits him very well. And for the final decision, I went for some food items, the balloon and the teddy bear, because lazy villagers love to eat, and they love to sleep, and they love to talk about bugs, which I have not included in this video for Stiches, because bugs don't seem to fit his vibe. I mean, he's a colorful teddy bear, and I don't want to bring bugs into the thought of him, He's a sweet little baby boy, and I don't want to ruin that for me. So yeah, that's all we are going to be doing today. I am going to be releasing a video of the beaches that I decorated around his house. It would just be a very, very long video if I would include that part in this video. So yeah, I'm going to leave you now with a montage of the finished product. And if you enjoyed this video, I would very much appreciate it if you like and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you here. And yes, take care of yourself. Until next time, and bye bye.